Hello everybody, and today we are going to look at The Weight of Water by Sarah Crossan, a junior cert novel that I have chosen for you today. So learning outcomes of today's presentation is we're going to look at the rationale of the text, overview of the text, teaching methodologies, cross-curricular links, and we're going to look at the junior cert key skills and how we can encourage the use during the novel. So first of all, let me show you the front cover of the novel, The Weight of Water. So as you can see here, it is covered in blue. The top right hand corner we have a red suitcase, and on the left hand side we have raindrops. So nice, very simple, colourful cover. So a novel overview. So what is this novel and text about? So it is an interesting, great book. Okay, so basically armed with a suitcase and an old laundry bag filled with clothes, Kasinka and her mother head for England. Life is lonely for Kasinka, and at home her mother's heart is breaking, and at school her friends are scarce. But when someone special swims into her life, Kasinka learns that there might be more than one way for her to stay afloat. Okay, so Kasinka and her mother are from Poland, and they have moved to Coventry in England. The Weight of the Water is a startlingly originally piece of fiction. Most simply, a brilliant coming-of-age story. It also tackles the alienation experienced by many young immigrants, which is relevant in today's society, in my opinion. Moving, unsentimental, and utterly page-turning, we meet and share the experiences of a remarkable girl who shows us how quiet courage prevails. The rationale, okay, why have I chosen this text? I have chosen this text for its themes. So there are many themes throughout this novel. For example, there's immigration, racism, poverty, the immigrant experience, the writing styles, school, and its verse, okay? So these are themes why I have chosen this text. So moving on, we're going to look at teaching methodology. So how would you go about preparing your students pre and post of this novel, okay? So first of all, with cooperative learning, I'm going to look at group work and music. So we learn that Mama is an opera singer, so perhaps play some songs from Madame Butterfly or another opera. So throughout the novel, we find out that Mama likes to sing, and throughout different stages, she goes from humming to singing to nothing at all, okay? So perhaps play students an opera single. Not that they would sit down and listen to it, but perhaps I could be wrong. But I think it would be quite interesting to get them to understand the music that is being sung. Also, ask students to devise a soundtrack to go with The Weight of Water using opera or any other types of music. So this could be something you could do afterwards. So once the students have studied the text, you could get them to work on this in a group activity, okay? Or if you're feeling adventurous, or if there is students in your class that would prefer, perhaps get them to write an original song to accompany the novel using the words in the poems as lyrics, okay? So here we're using creativity and teamwork. So another teaching method that I would use would be inquiry-based learning. So for here, we would get a pre-reading strategy up. So we would get students to look at the structure of the book, okay? And we want the students to note that this is an unusual book in that it is written entirely in verse with poems instead of chapters, okay? What you could have students do is you could have them have discussions amongst themselves or even in pairs, get them to say how do they feel about the structure of the book before they started, okay? Were you put off reading or encouraged to read it, okay? While you're reading the book, then you could have the students have their own little journal that you could ask them, did they find it easier or difficult to read than books with chapters, okay, because it's written in verse. So this is an idea that you get students to work by themselves. So they're getting the information themselves, they're gathering it themselves, they're using their own thought on the text. Next, we're going to move on to a cross-curricular link. So one of the ones that I'm definitely going to look at here today is English, okay? Because it's an unusual book and it's written in verse, you're going to ask students to perhaps choose their favourite poems from the novel and analyse the way in which the author, Sarah Crossan, has used the poetic devices in these poems as well as the layout of them, okay? Students can look for alliteration, rhyme or half-rhyme, symbolism, repetition and rhythm, okay? Also, another one you get students to look at is the symbolism of water, okay? Water appears in various forms in the book. Find examples of water and talk about how they contribute to the feel of the book and to the plot, okay? So they can think about the rain, the dripping tap, snowing, and of course the swimming. So students can research, they can go back, they can gather information in order to get answers. Another curricular subject is definitely history, okay? We find out that Kasinka loves Kenworth Castle. She visits there on a date with William. So you could ask students to research the history of the castle, including Queen Elizabeth I's visit there 400 years ago. Perhaps you could get students to get images, get pictures, and if you're in a classroom where there's technology and you have iPads and TV screens, perhaps get your students to share the images for all to see in the classroom. Next, we're going to move on to key skills. So I have chosen 2 key skills that I think you could definitely embed throughout this novel, and that is being creative and working with others. So by using these 2 key skills hand in hand, they can be used with the use of creating song lyrics as part of a group activity. So they're being creative, okay? They're bringing in their own idols and music tastes to work along this book. Students implementing ideas and taking actions, stimulating creativity using digital technology. Many students today in your classroom hopefully will have access to a computer or a laptop or an iPod, but they'll be able to get the music, okay? CDs, radio, they can record on their phones, they can record on iPads. All of this students could use, okay, in order to work together to create those song lyrics. They're being creative and they're working with others and they're using the digital technology. But the main thing with working with others as part of this activity is respecting differences, showing respect for people of different cultures, backgrounds, belief and sexual orientation, and show openness to learning from different people. So I'm not sure, but in a classroom today, you could have students from Poland, Germany, France, Lithuania, many different cultures in your classroom. So students need to be able to respect one another and respect their peers. So definitely being creative and working with others are 2 key skills that I would embed throughout the studying of this novel. So let's just recap on this presentation. So we're going to look at the learning outcomes. So we looked at the rationale of the text. So I chose this text because of its themes that run throughout and its structure. It's written in verse, it's unusual. An overview of the text. So we now know it's about a Polish mother and daughter, and they move from Poland to Coventry, England, in the search of finding her father that left them many years ago. Okay, we looked at teaching methodologies, we looked at group work, we looked at how students would work by themselves in discussion, okay? We looked at teaching methodologies, we looked at what they could do, okay? So creating the songs, creating the lyrics, cross-curricular links, okay? English, discussions, the symbolism of water, how we would go about studying the book, okay? Looking for alliteration, looking for rhyme, looking at the structure. History, okay? We are looking at the Kenworth Castle, looking for images, gathering more information about it. And then we're looking at our junior cert key skills. So how we encourage the use during the novel. So we're going to encourage the use pre-reading by looking at the novel, flicking through it, their thoughts, being creative, what they think the novel could be about, okay? Then we have group work and activities, the creating of the music and the lyrics and the song. So those 2 I feel are very good and work very well with this novel. So overall, guys, this is the last image, okay? So the front cover of the book, The Weight of Water by Sarah Crossland, and I really hope that you would select this book for your class for teaching 2nd and 3rd year students, as it is very good. And that's all, folks. Thank you very much.